All right, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Alma One coming to the quick lesson through the Spirit. Hope you have by Shem Yahweh. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Rakah Kadash. Give honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, rule well and teach well. Shalom to both like men that scatter abroad, pushing this truth without sincerity. And also shalom to you very few sincere sisters. All right, so real quick, just want to touch upon this article that, had came out yesterday due to the Afghan guy taking out two of the national the troops, and with that being said, this is an NYTimes.com article, but it says Trump vows crackdown on immigration and orders more troops to DC after shooting. Right, so through the other articles, it said 500, but we know that's just a number you want to give. But through the Spirit, I just seen the fact it has another way to bring in more troops to these states, man. Right? Put more pressure upon the tribes, seeing who's who, right? Another way that they can implement the chip, and then what other prophecies that come into mind, a man shall desire to go to one city and not be able, because it's going to cause civil war, it's going to cause these types of wars, and it's also going to have the MOTB established, right, to where if you don't have this device, you won't be able to go to the next city. You're going to see a lot of mass deportation, So I just want to bring this down the book of Habakkuk 2 right quick. It says, Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Right? And in a big martial law, that is a part of prophecy. Right? That's going to aid the Jacob's trouble, And as you can see with this, right, this right here is adding on to the time of trouble, right? The time of he shall come in like I'll just bring it out right quick. It's in 2nd Ezra 16, like 69, stuff like that. 72, 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols, right? And that's going to have these folks enraged, man. They be ready to get down on the tribes, right? Which Trump has now vowed to do a crackdown, because the man was from Afghan, and like in the article, he came in through Biden in 21, That's gonna have these troops routed and ready to, bust a move on the tribes. But we're gonna read some of this and grab out one more scripture, and I'll leave it at that. President Trump on Wednesday called for a crackdown on immigration and ordered 500 more troops to Washington after the shooting of 2 National Guard members patrolling the Capitol and identification of an Afghan national as the suspect. And I want to say, excuse me, excuse me. You already had troops in DC after they didn't cleaned up, so-called. Excuse me. And then there was handled Chicago, Baltimore, LA, California. Now they doubling back. And me personally, this is like another way to bring in more troops for the bigger reason, right? For when shit really hit the fan, the real civil wars. It says, Mr. Trump posted a video shortly after 9 p.m. from Palm Beach, Florida, where he is spending Thanksgiving, describing the shooting as an act of terror, right? And a crime against humanity. He called the suspect, whom people familiar with the investigation identified, is it, how you say it? Ramanula. Anyway, he's 29, an animal, right, who shot the guard members at point blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. Right, and what I was about to say is, he had 2 that was saying, the people did pass away. Saying that they wasn't passed, they was in critical condition. But either way it goes, right, that's definitely ammo to bring more troops to the cities, man. For the bigger purpose, right? But I'm gonna leave it off at that, right? So yeah, back in '68, it said, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you being idle with things offered unto idol." Right? Because all these things are going to lead into what Jacob's trouble. Right. And so with that being said, let me grab the precept of Jacob's trouble. Right. Because we see these things that's lining up. We seeing the pestilence is ramping up. Right. Right. A lot of these old movies, these apocalypse movies, you had National Guards, troops. You had troops in your city. Matter of fact, before I grab that, let me grab 2 Corinthians 15 right quick. I should be wrapping it up after this one. The 2 Corinthians chapter 15 and 17. Yep. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Excuse me. I'll start at 15. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? We know that civil wars is going to be here. The government. The people against the people. These things are coming down the pipeline. Who's gonna have to stand in the way? They're gonna have to have these troops somewhere in here, right? To so-called try to rectify things, keep things in order. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? And we know most importantly is because you need that chip to maneuver. So all of these things happening right now is helping the stand for the MOTB to be made mandatory. So you can know who's in the country, where they at. You can look at the whole rap sheet, which they can do now, but he want to put it on a broad level, right? So I'm gonna close with Jeremiah 30 verse 7, because this is where we at, right? Well, we haven't fully reached it, but we're already in the ballpark for it. It's Jeremiah 30 in verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." Right? That saved out of it going into with the elect, the remnant that the Lord is going to have favor on. We're going to be in the mix of it, right? But we will be saved out of it, right? And it'll be like a time like never before. That's why we're seeing these troops being abroad. That's why we're seeing, like I said, the chip being presented, they know these men finna come down with great wrath. They know they're finna have that burning wrath with great multitude. Talking about how they can don't consent to it. Because then we're gonna throw you inside these concentration camps, right? So the more troops out there you'll be able to have, they better help. Send folks to these concentration camps to pretty much get sealed. But we come to a time like never before, right? But I'm gonna close out with that. Lord wants edifying. I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Shem Shah Shem